Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're unpacking an absolutely fascinating framework from the YouTube channel Bible Built. You know that constant, overwhelming chatter going on in our heads? That overlapping, messy layer of internal spiritual noise? Well, that's exactly what we're looking at today. Whether you're deeply religious or just super curious about how we all interpret our own inner dialogue, you're going to find this breakdown incredibly useful. The creator of the source material tackles a huge universal struggle, figuring out exactly which internal voices are actually leading us and which ones are just dragging us down with distractions.
Okay, let's dive into this. Was that God or was it me? Now, according to the source material, this is the ultimate dilemma. Most of us, honestly, never truly learn how to tell the difference between these internal prompts. And because of that, the argument here is that people end up either completely ignoring genuine direction or just blindly following thoughts that lead them way off course. And the stakes? They are incredibly high. In our modern world, which is just absolutely packed with distractions and emotional turbulence and so much spiritual noise, the creator points out that learning to discern this voice isn't just a nice-to-have anymore. It's totally necessary. I mean, you simply can't follow a voice you don't even recognize, right?
To really anchor this idea, the source points to a foundational biblical premise from John 10:27. My sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me. The creator emphasizes that this isn't just, pretty poetic language. It actually means something very literal within this framework. You absolutely can hear God. So the fundamental problem isn't that God isn't speaking. The real problem, according to the explainer, is entirely about how we've been conditioned to listen.
And that brings us to a really critical contrast. The source argues that so many of us struggle with that inner voice because we were taught religion rather than relationship. So what does that actually mean? Well, being taught religion is framed here as a strict focus on just obedience, merely following the rules. But a relationship, that requires a focus on discernment. It's about learning to genuinely understand and converse with the speaker. Because people were trained just to obey a list of rules instead of discerning a relationship, the creator notes that whenever a real, genuine internal prompt does happen, people immediately doubt what they hear.
Section 1. Identifying the three voices. This is where the creator's core framework really takes shape, stating that every single internal thought, impulse, and decision you have stems from one of three distinct sources.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how the source practically categorizes these voices by their pacing and their end results. We've got the flesh, the enemy, and God. The flesh is fast, impulsive, and basically just looking for ease. The enemy, on the other hand, is subtle and logical, but always ends up resulting in guilt and fear. And then God's voice, conversely, is described as calm and firm, and it results in peace and restoration. By breaking it down like this, the creator gives us a really solid practical diagnostic tool for the noise in our own heads.
Let's take a closer look at that first voice, the flesh. The creator highlights Matthew 26:41 to show this concept, noting that the flesh is fundamentally weak. In this framework, your flesh is basically the voice of immediate comfort. It's fast, it's super impulsive, and it's the one whispering, hey, go ahead, skip the gym, eat that third donut, nothing's gonna happen. According to the source, this voice totally avoids the spiritual. It prioritizes distraction over prayer and immediate pleasure over any kind of long-term purpose. It feels incredibly good in the moment, for sure, but the creator warns it will inevitably cost you big time later on.
Then we hit the second voice, which the source labels as the enemy, and wow, this one is way more deceptive. The creator warns that this voice doesn't usually announce itself as something obviously evil or dramatic. Instead, it disguises itself as perfectly logical thoughts. It brings up your past, whispering quiet accusations like, you've already failed way too much, or you're never going to change. The strategy here is simply to plant doubt about your identity and about God. The source gives us a really clear rule of thumb. If a voice in your head accuses you, isolates you, or fills you with hopelessness and fear, it is definitely not coming from God.
In stark contrast to all of that, we have the third voice, the voice of God. Pointing to Philippians 4:7, the explainer notes that this voice behaves entirely differently. It doesn't rush you with anxiety, it doesn't pressure you with fear. Instead, according to the source, God's voice brings this deep, completely unfakeable peace. Even when this voice confronts you or corrects you, it's not trying to destroy you or push you down. Its ultimate goal is always to lift you up and restore you.
So the crucial point is this highly memorable summary from the source. The flesh pushes, the enemy accuses, God guides with truth. It's just such an incredibly concise way to filter out all that complex noise in your mind. And the explainer makes a bold claim here. Simply learning to recognize the distinct flavor of that guiding voice can literally change everything about your life's trajectory.
Section 2. 3 tests for God's voice. Now we're shifting into the toolkit portion of the explainer.
asking a really practical question. How exactly do we test this internal quiet whisper, since it's almost never a booming audible sound?
To answer that, the explainer walks us through 3 very practical filters for your thoughts. Number 1, it never contradicts the word. The source is firm here. God is never going to go against what's already written in the Bible. That text is the ultimate baseline filter. Number 2, it brings peace in the middle of chaos. Now, the Creator clarifies that this means clarity, not necessarily comfort. It might not be the loudest voice shouting in your head, but it will feel like the truest. And number 3, it draws you closer to Him. The argument is that God doesn't just want to hand you an answer key. He wants closeness. A true prompt builds relationship rather than pushing you into isolation or pride.
Section 3. Understanding God's silence. Let's move to and see how this builds, because we really have to address the elephant in the room. What happens when there seems to be absolutely no voice at all?
The Creator offers a really profound perspective shift for this. God's silence does not mean absence. The explainer suggests that sometimes when you hear nothing, it actually means God has already spoken to you. In those moments of silence, the source's perspective is that He is simply waiting for you to trust and actually act on that past direction you were given.
Section 4. Relationship over science. This moves us into the final transformation of the explainer, shifting our paradigm away from just passively waiting around for magical signs to actively engaging. Here, we're comparing waiting for signs with building a relationship. The source arrives at a highly logical conclusion. Think about it. Just like with human beings, you can only really recognize someone's voice if you actually spend time with them. The more time you spend, the easier it is to pick their voice out across a crowded, noisy room. The explainer argues it is exactly the same with God. If you're constantly agonizing, asking, was it God or was it me? The Creator suggests what you really need isn't some flashier, louder sign. What you actually need is a deeper relationship.
And this brilliantly illustrates the core message the explainer leaves us with. Instead of stressing over a massive, complex checklist, the source challenges us to start with a really simple, provocative prompt. God, teach me to recognize your voice. By summarizing this whole huge topic into one simple plea, it leaves us to reflect on our own internal narrative. Because the voice you ultimately choose to follow today, well, that's going to completely define your future. So the next time you feel a strong internal push to make a major life decision, ask yourself, is this voice rushing me? Is it accusing me? Or is it guiding me with peace? Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and we'll see you next time.